The illusion of recovery. Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to all the C-suite execs, ComEx members, CISOs, and resilience leaders tuning in to this explainer. Today, we're dissecting a really dangerous myth, and we're looking at exactly what happens right after the smoke clears from a massive cyber attack or major destructive event.
So, when an organization gets hit by a major disruption, there's usually one question that immediately echoes through the halls and boardrooms. When will the systems be back? You know, it's a totally instinctive reaction, right? We just want our screens to light up again. We want those blinking lights in the server room back on. But I want you to realize right now that this is an immediate, yet fundamentally flawed, totally IT-centric question that almost every executive instinctively asks during a crisis.
Let's look at what happens next. The technical teams mobilize incredibly fast. It's a structured, intensive process. Step 1, verify the backups. Step 2, rebuild the infrastructure. Step 3, restore the applications. And finally, Step 4, those glowing red dashboards gradually turn green again. Phew, a massive sense of relief sweeps across the entire organization. It feels like the crisis is finally ending. But honestly, this operational recovery, it's exactly where the dangerous illusion begins.
And this brilliantly illustrates the massive disconnect we so often see. Picture a large manufacturing company. After days of intense around-the-clock effort, the IT perspective looks absolutely great. Servers are online, apps are restored, networks are humming. They're literally giving high fives in the server room. But then look at the business perspective. Total paralysis. Orders cannot be processed, critical decisions are blocked, and essential files remain locked tight. You've got technical success on one side and a completely hidden operational failure on the other.
Because the systems are technically up, but the business remains completely stalled out, this forces operational managers to pivot. They start asking an unexpected and frankly alarming question: can we trust the information we're using? Now that question might seem a little surprising at first glance. After all, the systems are working, right? Users are connected. But a closer look reveals a much deeper, more insidious problem lurking right under the surface. In any kind of corporate governance context, losing trust in your data is an absolute catastrophic failure. The absolute core of the problem here is missing data. And listen, we aren't necessarily talking about petabytes of raw storage just vanishing into thin air. We're talking about the crucial, hyper-specific information that enables governance and trust, the actual business objects that make the company run. Think about it like missing puzzle pieces. Data proving a validation actually occurred. Data demonstrating a critical control was performed. Or data justifying a massive multi-million-dollar business decision.
Which brings us to this incredibly harsh reality. On the surface, sure, the organization recovered its infrastructure, but in reality, it completely lost its ability to decide, to demonstrate, and most importantly, to create value. It is a total illusion of recovery if the business objects your technology actually transforms are fundamentally compromised. You don't create value with just servers or applications alone. You create value through the business objects and the very specific data that enables those business transformations.
So, the crucial point is understanding what we are actually losing here. Within the foundational Ransom-Kick Resilience Model, these critical elements are called points of truth. As defined here, points of truth are the unique elements that tell us what is true, what is validated, and what allows us to demonstrate what has actually happened. It's pretty simple, really. When a point of truth disappears, trust disappears right along with it. Let's look at exactly how that loss of trust trickles down to paralyze the absolute most fundamental operations of the business. Without trust, it becomes incredibly difficult to produce anything reliably. It becomes difficult to invoice your clients. It becomes difficult to actually deliver your products or services. And ultimately, it becomes downright impossible to decide. You are essentially flying blind, even though your IT dashboards are glowing bright green. This reality demands a complete pivot in how we approach a crisis. Remember that flawed question we started with? Which system should we restore? Well, the paradigm shift we desperately need, the question every single ComEx and CISO must ask to design true resilience, is which data allows our organization to continue creating value? That shift right there fundamentally changes everything about how you build your operational resilience strategy.
Let's move to and see how this builds a completely different roadmap for the organization. This right here is the mandatory strategic progression of the Ransom-Kick model. It all starts with value creation, moving to the continuity of those critical functions. Then, reconstruction of the compromised environment, which leads directly to the ability to make a clear decision. From there, we move to demonstration of compliance and control, achieving certification, and finally, the ultimate goal, reaching antifragility. where the organization actually becomes stronger and far more adaptable after a shock.
Which brings us to our ultimate takeaway today. To survive modern disruptions, you absolutely must look beyond technology and infrastructure and focus on what truly matters: value creation. Let's be clear, true resilience is not just about protecting technologies. It's the capacity to preserve, reconstruct, and continuously improve your organization's ability to create value despite massive disruptions. To truly build this level of resilience in your organization and shift your focus from IT recovery to value creation, I highly encourage you to explore the following resources. Really, treat them as your essential toolkit. For books, check out the Assuring Resilience series. On YouTube, visit the Archeon Group channel. For our French listeners, the FR podcast is Conversations Resilience Ransom-Kick. For our English listeners, tune into the EN podcast, Ransom-Kick Resilience Talks. On the web, you can visit www.ransomkick.com and www.archeonis.app. All of this incredible insight comes from author Fabian Paulosoides, the founder of Ransom-Kick and the designer of the Ransom-Kick Resilience Model. So as you look at your own organization today, you have to ask yourself a tough question. Will your next recovery be real, or will it just be an illusion? Dive into these resources to make sure you know the answer.